Now on 4 News Now at 6, more security is on the way to Washington's largest homeless camp. Who's covering the cost and why some living close to the camp say this new plan could backfire. And many are leaving Camp Hope. We'll explain where they're going and why organizers say the migration is a good thing.
It's finally starting to feel a little more like fall in the inland Northwest. I'll show you when you might need to start wearing a jacket in the mornings in your first alert forecast. You're watching 4 News Now at 6.
The number of people living in Washington's largest homeless camp is shrinking. A new fence, along with plans to implement a new badging system, are just some of the reasons organizers say people are leaving. Thanks for joining us. I'm Aaron Luna. Kirsten is on assignment. At one point, Camp Hope was home to more than 600 people, all with a unique story and different circumstances. New at 6 tonight, Bronte Saratsky is live at Camp Hope and breaks down the changing numbers. Bronte.
Well, Aaron, almost 200 people have left Camp Hope since July. Camp managers tell me this is a good thing. Their end goal is for everyone to eventually find housing.
The end goal is an empty camp.
And that may be starting to happen. On Saturday, Camp Hope managers did a head count of people living inside. In July, they counted 623 people living at Camp Hope. On Saturday, they counted again and found 443 people living at the camp. That's almost 200 people who have found housing outside of the camp.
It is a big change. And we're proud of that because that's why we're here. We're not here to establish a permanent homeless camp. We're here to work with the most difficult population of homeless, which is the unsheltered chronic homeless.
Some who left the camp have moved back with family, found transitional housing, or went to the Trent shelter.
We're excited that we've moved down 180 people. Now, about 40 of those 180 went over to the Trent shelter.
Winter Daniels and her dog have been at the Trent shelter since Friday. She said she left Camp Hope because she didn't feel safe.
Well, there's a lot of people arguing and a lot of drugs stuff going on. So people are always kind of high there. And I've been trying to get my husband away from that.
Daniels says while the new shelter isn't perfect, her living conditions have improved.
I mean, it's better than living on our van 24/7. There's not enough room in there for both of us, plus our stuff.
Daniels says she left before the new fencing and security went up around the camp. Smith says some people have left because of the fence and expects more to leave once they start giving residents a badge to get into the camp. Well, starting tomorrow, residents will get help getting important documents like birth certificates, social security cards, and more. And that's going to be through the state licensing and through the state health department. Reporting live in Spokane, Bronte Saratsky, 4 News Now.
As people start to leave the camp, more security is on the way. The Washington Department of Transportation now wants Camp Hope patrolled 24/7. It just signed a new contract with a security firm. Neighbors still aren't convinced anything will change.
Stop blowing smoke up everyone's rear end and do what you're supposed to do. This should not have been going on this long.
Coming up, see why someone with 15 years experience in private security says he turned down the job and his growing fears as new security moves in. That's all new tonight at 6:30. Well, breaking news tonight at 6 o'clock. Police in Liberty Lake now say they're trying to track down this woman you see on your screen. They say she stole hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of jewelry. Officers say it happened at the Consigned Furniture and Jewelry on Country Vista Drive. Police claim this woman hid inside the store until after closing and stole $300,000 in jewelry right out of the cases. If you know anything about this heist or the woman in the surveillance photos, call the Liberty Lake Police Department or Crime Check with your tips. The numbers are there on your screen. Tonight on Tonight, we talked to the owner of the furniture and jewelry store to find out how this woman managed to hide and what new security steps are now planned. Safety concerns near another Spokane homeless shelter will mean one less coffee shop in downtown Spokane. Starbucks is closing its store at 2nd and Division because of safety concerns for customers and employees. The location is just a block away from the House of Charity, and that corner has had safety concerns for years. It moved to a drive-through model in July, but will close completely on October 23rd. Employees can transfer to other Starbucks locations. You want to bring your plants inside if you can. tonight. Temperatures will be dropping over the next few hours. We're going to send it over to Chris Crocker to see if the cooler weather is going to impact that plant.
Well, it certainly can, because we are heading down to overnight lows below freezing in some of the outlying areas, mostly in the 30s and 40s elsewhere. Just a look here at our sunset tonight over the Spokane Veterans Memorial Arena. Not a cloud in the sky. Also clearer air today. Boy, that has been nice. I'll talk more about that later in the news. But first, here's a look at our overnight lows tonight. 33 in Spangle, 29 in Deer Park. We'll be in the 30s in 9 Mile, Meade, and Spirit Lake. Even though that's not down to freezing in some spots, that'll still take a toll on your late season garden. 41 at Spokane International Airport and 44 in Coeur d'Alene. Meanwhile, temperatures currently are in the 60s and 70 degrees in downtown. That's the only 70. Oh, I take it back. Liberty Lake is still 70 today. We topped out about 10 degrees above average, and that's going to be our cool day of the forecast. We'll be right back up in the mid 70s tomorrow. By 8 o'clock, we're up to 45 degrees. We're heading to a high of 74. Might be a good evening to harvest your vegetables or cover them up, but we do have some warmer nights in the 7-day forecast. I will let you know what to expect in just a few minutes.
In to try to close it on a Tuesday. Alvarez launches deep right field, and this one is gone, and the Astros walk them off in Game 1.
Well, what looked like an easy win in the first few innings, the Seattle Mariners looked as though they were well on their way to taking Game 1 of the ALDS earlier this afternoon, but the Houston Astros stormed back from a 4-run deficit in the 8th inning to steal that win. Alex, it was looking hopeful, and then all of a sudden our dreams were shattered.
Literally 1 out away. That's all they needed to take Game 1 here, and they were in control for most of the game, but they just couldn't hang on in the 9th inning. The M's got off to a hot start, though, jumping out to a 4-0 lead in just the 2nd inning, thanks to a couple big hits by Julio Rodriguez and Ty France. In fact, the Astros starting pitcher, Justin Verlander, only making it 4 innings, giving up 6 runs on 10 hits. How about that for a future Hall of Famer? And in the 7th, it looked like this game was just about over again, as Eugenio Suarez came through with a solo home run to make it a 7-3 ball game. But the bats of Houston just simply too dangerous. In the 7th, Alex Bregman with a 2-run shot to left to make it a 2-run ball game. And then in the bottom of the 9th, it was up to Robbie Ray. He came in to close out the game with 2 men on when Yordan Alvarez went deep on the 2nd pitch of the at-bat, and that's an absolute no-doubter as Houston walks off the Mariners in a game where it felt like Seattle had to have in this series. The offense of the Mariners absolutely going off. 7 runs off of 13 hits, but it's still not enough in this one.
And today I thought we had it in hand. You got to give them credit. Certainly they've been in this spot many times before, and you don't quit, but they got some huge hits late in the game against some of our better guys. So we will respond. These things happen throughout the course of the year, and we talked about it coming into the playoffs. You are going to have games. You're going to have moments where it doesn't go your way, and we will respond accordingly tomorrow. We'll get after it again.
The two teams are going to have the day off tomorrow before Game 2 on Thursday, so maybe they can use that time, sort of flush it, memory dump, and just move on. I know it's tough after, literally that close to having it.
So you have to power down, restart.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, thanks, Alex. A nationwide railway strike is back on the table, while one of the largest unions turned down the deal, and how it could impact prices coming up.
Some of the neighbors near Underhill Park said they're against the city's new dog park guideline, and find out why they're opposed to this plan and the city's comment on this issue. That's coming up.
And a local pastor sold his home to open a homeless shelter. Now he can end up on the street himself. How it got to this point and what needs to be done to keep his dream alive. Coming up on 4 News Now at 6.
Track live radar on the 4 News Now weather app.
You'll love saving your green at Jennifer's.
Democrats in Washington are threatening our way of life. Reckless spending fueling inflation. Shutting down energy production here at home. A push to defund the police. Kathy McMorris Rogers is fighting every day to stop them and protect Eastern Washington. Cutting spending to curb inflation. Unleashing American energy production. And making sure law enforcement has the resources they need. Kathy McMorris Rogers, our voice.
I'm Kathy McMorris Rogers, and I approve this message. Each month, 4 News Now is focusing on a cause that's important to our community by helping to get the message out. This is good for you to know.
The Care Shop Health and Wellness Cooperative wants to remind you that October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and we encourage you to go and get screened. I opened the Care Shop 22 years ago, and it's been my pleasure to help women navigate treatment and recovery with the products that they need. We offer breast prosthesis, bras, and wigs, head coverings, hats, and skincare, all provided in an intimate setting with certified fitters. Recently, we opened the Health and Wellness Cooperative, and by doing so, we've added services to the products that we've already provided. We've partnered with a number of providers to offer mental health, lymphatic massage, coaching, nutrition and hormonal services, free wig trimming, along with restorative yoga and small support groups. Please remember to get your screening, also that there's a community of providers to help you through your treatment and your recovery.
Watch 4 News Now as the Extreme Team upgrades the Carl Maxey Center. What we're going to do is go in and get into the next phase of operation. That's going to be a new library. There's going to be a place in back. There's going to be a nice patio. Watch 4 News Now's Extreme Team, sponsored by Horizon Credit Union.
Create a home retreat with a beautiful hot tub or swim spa from Country Homes Power, your spa superstore, offering great discounts, special financing, all with professional delivery. It's time to relax during the Country Homes Power 75th anniversary sale.
I proudly served our nation and fought for freedom abroad. I never expected to see our temple of democracy ransacked here at home. It's so dangerous that MAGA Republicans, like Mitch McConnell's handpicked candidate for U.S. Senate, Tiffany Smiley, continue to question the 2020 election. Their big lie is a direct threat to our elections and our democracy. Join me in defending America. Say no to Tiffany Smiley before it's too late.
I'm Patty Murray, and I approve this message.
Over the summer, a pastor from God's Love International sold his home to pay for this building. His dream was to convert it into a homeless shelter, and at one point, it housed more than 75 people. The building is on 2nd Avenue in Monroe in Spokane, but it was shut down by the city for being in violation of several city codes. And the pastor who opened these doors is now running out of money to make ends meet. KXLY's Jordan Smith spoke with the city about the pastor and about how things got to this point and what he needs to do to keep these doors open.
Well, Aaron, it was Pastor Ron Nelson's dream to convert that building into a shelter for those without homes. After 3 months, he faces becoming homeless himself. On a mission to provide food and shelter to those without homes, Pastor Ron Nelson sold his home in Deer Park and used the funds to pay for this building.
$103,000 for the upfront rent of the property with a $40,000 security deposit.
But there was a problem. The use permit for this building is for an office space, not a homeless shelter, which put it in violation of several city codes, including fire and health codes.
You know, it was obvious that there were life safety issues. We needed to take action.
The city vacated the property and informed Nelson of the codes he needed to come into compliance with. On that laundry list of tasks is installing a fire sprinkler system and a smoke alarm system. But Nelson is arguing that he's operating this building as a shelter and it's protected by RCWs. And RCW in this case allows for emergency exemptions when it comes to housing the impoverished, allowing businesses more flexibility to navigate around those city codes. In this case, Nelson would have a 5-year window to install those fire systems. Spokane Fire Marshal Lance Dahl says
that doesn't seem to be
apply.
But he's asked for over and above just indigent housing. He's asked to use it as a church, which is an A3, and that is not exempt under the RCW. And he's asked to use it as a parsonage, which is a residential usage, which is not part of this RCW.
The city does say that Nelson can apply for different use permits that would allow him to operate this building as a shelter, but he would have to get into compliance with these codes, and the building must stay empty until that happens. Not only that, but because he's not technically recognized as a shelter by the city, he's unable to qualify for grants, and he's quickly running low on money.
At the end of the month, if things don't miraculously change, if I don't get funding miraculously somehow, I will be forced to vacate the premises, give everything away, including my animals, because I'm not going to take them into the back of my truck.
Although he's paid rent for the next 6 months, he still needs to pay power, sewage, and other miscellaneous costs that keep this building afloat. And without being able to qualify for those grants, he's running out of both time and money. Aaron?
Jordan, thank you. Election day is just a few weeks away, and we are hard at work reaching out to the candidates and asking them the tough questions so you can be informed when you cast your vote. One election to keep an eye on is for Idaho governor. Republican incumbent Brad Little is taking on Democratic nominee Stephen Haidt. Little has been criticized by his own party for not taking a tougher stance against masking at the peak of the pandemic, despite never issuing a mask mandate. Another race to keep an eye on that will impact crime in our communities is for Spokane County prosecutors between Republican Larry Haskell and Deb Conklin, who is not affiliated with the party. We know you have questions. We want to hear from you. We have the form to submit your questions on KXLY.com/forthepeople. There you can also find a complete voter guide, including deadlines and how to register to vote.
Our high temperature today, 71 degrees, 10 degrees above average, and that's behind a cold front. Our big cool down, 81 our record for today. Our sunset was 5 minutes ago, and that temperature is going to start dropping quickly. I'll let you know what to expect after the break.
Attention hikers, bikers, and horseback riders. Public access is prohibited on Antoine Peaks Tower Road from Robbins Road to the summit, October 10th through the 14th for erosion control work. Use caution and watch for heavy equipment. Thanks for your cooperation. Stream 4 News Now on your TV for free with the KXLY Plus app.
4 News Now is brought to you by Coeur d'Alene Nissan.
I'm Spokane County District Court Judge Jeff Smith, and I support Court Commissioner Eric Doima for District Court Judge. Eric's wealth of knowledge and experience make him the most qualified to serve as your next judge in District Court. Eric has over 50 Spokane judicial and attorney endorsements and is endorsed and supported by the entire District Court bench. He is truly committed to fairly serving the people of Spokane County. Join me in voting for District Court Commissioner Eric Doima for District Court Judge this November 8th.
I'm Spokane County District Court Commissioner Eric Doima. I believe in justice for all, and I approve this message.
Tomorrow morning, just wait until you see the surprise Dwayne Johnson is about to drop on one deserving fan live on national TV.
Shh. You won't want to miss this surprise.
See it happen live tomorrow only on
Good Morning America.
I've never liked political ads that attack, but we need to bring the facts to light. My opponent believes that Tent City has never caused an increase in crime. With Mr. Jordan, we can expect more crime, more taxes, and more regulations that make housing more expensive. I support safer neighborhoods, lower taxes, and addressing homelessness and housing. I support you, the hardworking people of Spokane, because like you, I'm one of them. Vote Kim, please, for County Commissioner.
Bill's Heating and Air Conditioning is your family-owned and operated #1 HVAC contractor in the Northwest. Bill's Heating and Air Conditioning would like to introduce our own carbon reduction program. Buy a new energy-efficient furnace from Bill's Heating and receive a matching air conditioner with installation absolutely free. No hidden fees, no conditions, no exceptions. Buy a furnace, get a free AC from Bill's Heating and Air Conditioning. Call today for estimates and repairs.
First ever Mazda CX-50, purpose-built for the outdoors. With our most advanced driving technology for responsive, consistent performance on road and off that entices you to go further, more often.
The first ever Mazda CX-50 was built for the Pacific Northwest. Come take a test drive and reserve yours today at Foothills Mazda, or shop now at SpokaneMazda.com.
This was one of the most exciting things to see today when I came into work. Air quality in the good range over much of the inland Northwest. Look at all the green circles of some moderate air quality. Starting to see things slowly go downhill a little bit. We do still have some fires burning in addition to agricultural burning and prescribed burns, plus high pressure taking over behind yesterday's cold front that will trap the smoke in at the surface. But enjoy in the meantime a deep breath of fresh air. cold air tomorrow at the bus stop. 41 for an overnight low, so that is about average, but it is going to come to perhaps a little bit of a shock to our systems, as it has been so very warm so far this fall. We haven't had 41 degrees for an overnight low in Spokane in about 3.5 months. Frost in spots. If you've already had a frost at your house, count on it again. But once we're down into the lower 40s, that can definitely do some damage to your late season garden, particularly this late in the season. 74 for a high tomorrow, sunny and warm. That temperature almost 15 degrees above average. Clear skies across the region right now with a ridge of high pressure. We've been on the eastern edge of that ridge today, but that is going to be building in even more. These are upper level winds. We were in a bit of a northwesterly flow today. As that high pressure builds, our temperatures will increase tomorrow. Expect mid 70s through the rest of the 7-day forecast. Our overnight lows, take it day by day. There's a lot of small factors that contribute to those plummeting temperatures this time of year, but we'll be at least in the mid 40s, perhaps a little bit below through the 7-day outlook. Lows tonight will be in the 30s and 40s around the region. High temperatures tomorrow, mostly in the 70s. Sandpoint, one of the few exceptions, at 68. Your 7-day forecast at too bad this is not a slot machine. We would be seeing the coins flooding out with all those sunshines lined up. Overnight lows staying in the 40s. Coming up in the next half hour, finally starting to see a little change showing up in the long-range models. I'll let you know what I'm seeing and talk more about frost in the next half hour, Aaron.
Interesting. Thank you, Chris. Spokane Parks Department has new guidelines to add dog parks in the city. Officials are asking the public for feedback on proposed plans at a series of open houses. One neighbor contacted 4 News Now, saying people living near Underhill Park are not happy with those plans. The city's park board members will decide whether to bring around 7 acres of play area for dogs to this park. New at 6 o'clock, Peter Choi explains why neighbors near Underhill Park are not happy with the new dog park plan and the city's reaction.
People living near Underhill Park in East Spokane said this park is not the best option to build a playground for dogs. Now hundreds of neighbors have already signed a petition to protect this park from the construction.
Fortunately, all 3 locations don't seem to meet the needs of the current dog park users.
After Monday's open house with city officials, Justin Bodaju says he's not satisfied with a new dog park plan, particularly with the Underhill Park.
In fact, there wasn't a single green dot for Underhill Park. It just shows that Underhill is just not the best option for a new dog park for this town.
And why is not the best option? He says it's because the park already holds many different activities, from cricket to Little League.
One of the very few sites in this East Central neighborhood where kids in our neighborhood can experience the outdoors with our existing natural area. What the Parks Department is proposing is taking that away, essentially.
Neighbors say limited parking space at the park is a hassle.
During the middle, when there's multiple events going on down in this park, the parking lot is full and people are having to back down and down clear to the intersection.
The city officials say the process is not close to being done.
No decision is made, and we're going to take those dots, we're going to take those comment cards, and that is a part of the process.
The public process will continue even after the board members' final decision.
So once a site is selected, then that next public process goes into what design characteristics, maybe we shrink one location up a little bit more and morph it, and how does the circulation work.
The public still has 3 more open houses in Southgate, Lincoln Heights, and East Central to give feedback. The city's park board members will determine final locations in 2 weeks, October 24th. In East Spokane, Peter Choi, 4 News Now.
The freight trains all over the U.S. could soon come to a halt. What blew up the deal between unions and railroad companies, and the new deadline to come to an agreement. Coming up next on 4 News Now at 6.
Download the 4 News Now app today.
There are a lot of ways to deal with a stubborn drain. Call us at Mainstream Plumbing. Our high-definition LED camera can go where no plumber's gone before, deep inside your sewer lines to find the root of the problem. Call 866-411-ZAP.
Spokane and North Idaho's country leader.
It goes like one margarita.
Bluebird in my heart. Baby, you're playing hard to forget. The big 99.9 Coyote Country.
Tiffany Smiley celebrated the overturning of Roe versus Wade.
There's no way I can trust her to protect us.
Tiffany Smiley would tip control of the Senate to Mitch McConnell.
That is a disaster.
She could give Mitch McConnell the power to rig the courts with more anti-choice judges.
And pass a complete nationwide abortion ban. This is serious stuff.
And Tiffany Smiley still supports Donald Trump.
No way. No way.
No way we can trust Tiffany Smiley.
Women voters responsible for the content of this advertising.
It's time for 4 News Now, Coats for Kids. Just drop off new or gently used coats at any of our sponsored locations. We'll bring them to Alsco for professional cleaning, then get them out to local children in need. Donate to Coats for Kids through October 31st.
Hello, I'm Denver Toon. Jewelry Design Center is very proud and excited to partner with 4 News Now's Coats for Kids this fall. So stop by the store, help your community, and donate to those in need. You can also get your free jewelry cleaning and inspection while you're here.
This is it, the moment you've been waiting for. Game day. No, game days. More than you can count. And at Turf Club Sportsbook, we've got all the action. With real sports betting, wall-to-wall HD TVs, and luxury seating. Just off the casino floor at Northern Quest, so you can bet, watch, and win on every game day. Turf Club Sportsbook, the ultimate game changer. Only at Northern Quest.
Joe Biden's open borders have threatened our neighborhoods and our children's safety. Fentanyl-related deaths have increased right here in Idaho. Gang members transport fentanyl and other dangerous drugs into our schools and communities. This has got to stop. I'm Mike Crapo. I approve this message. It's time we control the borders and shut down the pipeline of drugs and violence into Idaho.
4 News Now is brought to you by Move Fitness.
The possibility of a nationwide railway strike is back on the table. And if the railways shut down, it could have a massive impact on the U.S. economy. That's according to the Association of American Railroads. Railways move around 40% of all goods sold in the U.S. ABC's Rena Roy explains why they turned down the deal.
It's a no from railroad workers who have rejected President Biden's deal meant to address demands for better working conditions. 57% of the nation's third largest freight rail union voting against the deal, brokered by the Biden administration last month. The president of that union saying railroaders do not feel valued. The railroad employers say they have implemented some of the recommendations from the Presidential Emergency Board that helped broker the deal, including wage increases and travel reimbursements. The rejection renewing the possibility of a strike if both sides can't come to an agreement within the next month, a strike which could cripple the U.S. economy.
It may be harder to find some of the consumer goods you're used to. I mean, I think most of the stuff that's coming from overseas that comes in through the port usually touches rail at some point, most of it, a good majority. And all of that stuff just being halted.
The price of those goods could skyrocket even more than what we've seen in recent months.
Simple supply and demand. You're going to increase prices in that market. And when those prices go up, eventually that gets passed on to consumers.
The White House releasing a statement saying in part the president remains focused on avoiding a shutdown and pledges to support the parties in their efforts. 2 more big unions, the engineers and conductors, are set to vote on this deal. The track maintenance union has agreed to continue negotiations through November 19th, the deadline for a new agreement. If efforts fail, the nation could see its first major rail strike in 30 years, right in the middle of the holiday season. That could mean a blow to the supply chain and economy as a whole. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
Coming up on 4 News Now at 6:30, a woman shows up on someone's doorstep wearing a homemade dog collar.
And I told her I'm going to call help for you. Her first response was, if you call the cops, he's going to kill both of us.
We have the latest on a kidnapping and rape investigation that may involve more women in a small town in the Midwest.
Sign up for breaking news alerts with the 4 News Now app.
It's time for a new shower, but you don't want the hassle. You just want it done. Rebath. From start to stunning. Call us or visit rebath.com and save $1,250 off your complete bathroom remodel.
This is another one of those surprise medical bills you get in the mail. I've gotten them. You've gotten them. I'm Kathy McMorris Rogers. With inflation crushing our families, we need to put a stop to these. I support requiring hospitals, insurers, and doctors to disclose their prices so you can know the real cost and can shop around for the best care. I approve this message because no one likes surprises, especially this kind.
Get exactly what you want. Wendell Ford is ready to help you find that vehicle you've been wanting to buy. Built for you. F-150, Bronco, Bronco Sport, Explorer, Mach-E, and Maverick. Here's how it works. Make a list of options you want. Wendell will work with you on financing to fit your budget. And then we will order the vehicle of your dreams or select from current inventory. Get exactly what you want. Built for you. Wendell Ford at the Y. Drive for generations.
Providence has been focused on meeting the needs of the community for over 160 years, and we are honored to bring you top-rated Medicare Advantage coverage. Providence plans start at just $0 and include dental, hearing, and vision. Experience the difference of a community of care, united by compassionate coverage. Providence, join us as we make community stronger by building true health together.
Create a home retreat with a beautiful hot tub or swim spa from Country Homes Power, your spa superstore, offering great discounts, special financing, all with professional delivery. It's time to relax during the Country Homes Power 75th anniversary sale.
Hello, I'm Lloyd Herman. If you need legal assistance due to an accident or an injury, put my 40 years of experience of dealing with the insurance companies to work for you. You'll have an appointment to speak to me within 48 hours. Lloyd Herman & Associates, 922-6600.
It's time for a new shower, but you don't want the hassle. You just want it done. Rebath. From start to stunning. Call us or visit rebath.com and save $1,250 off your complete bathroom remodel.
Live from downtown Spokane, this is 4 News Now at 6:30.
New security guards are at Camp Hope. The Department of Transportation now wants the site secured 24/7. It's supposed to increase safety, but some are worried it could backfire.
Someone may let their adrenaline take effect, and they could accidentally or purposely discharge their firearm.
People living near the camp say they see the drug addiction and mental health issues every day. They're worried too much security could put more people at risk. Still, the state is plowing ahead. WashDOT says it just signed a contract for $30,000 a week to secure the camp. Esther Bowers live at Camp Hope with the changes that are coming. Esther.
Well, the state just signed a contract with Security Services Northwest. They tell me 3 guards will be stationed here at all times. This is a new step to help a community that still feels left behind.
These people need help. This community needs help, and we need you to get off your butt and step up and do what you're supposed to do.
That's the message this East Central homeowner has for city and state leaders. His back alley is right next to the camp, and the issues haven't stopped since he moved in last December.
I've been lately finding a lot of needles thrown in my front yard where my dog goes to the bathroom.
Now the state's hiring new security guards to keep the community safe. It's a job Jim Drennan III says he applied for, but ultimately turned it down.
I refused the job. At a higher wage like that, I turned it down because of the danger factor of working there.
He's worked in private security for 15 years, but says he won't risk his life trying to secure the site. He's also worried about armed guards having the proper training to deal with mental health and addiction issues.
If people aren't properly trained on how to identify the difference between that, and if someone attacks them, someone may let their adrenaline take effect, and they could accidentally or purposely discharge your firearm.
The state says this is part of their plan to decrease the amount of people living here and ultimately close the camp, something Jim isn't convinced will happen anytime soon.
Coming up on mid-October, which was the first deadline, and the sheriff already pushed back to another month. Do I see an end in sight? No. I see a lot of hot air.
He also sees trash in his backyard every day. He can't sell his home and didn't sign up to live right next to the state's largest homeless camp. And I want you to keep in mind the Department of Transportation still owns this land. They tell me they're going to fund these new security guards. That's $30,000 a week. And they're going to use money from the North Spokane Corridor Property Management Fund. At this time, they tell me that contract is month to month and is set to go on for 6 months. Reporting live in East Central, Esther Bauer, 4 News Now.
Ooh, wow, look at that sunset. Beautiful over the Spokane Veterans Memorial Arena this evening. A crystal clear sky, just a little bit of wildfire smoke on the horizon. Those clear skies, light winds, it's going to lead to a cold night tonight. Coldest night of the season so far, which isn't saying much. We're still going to be bottoming out just a little above average. Clear tonight with some patchy morning frost. 70s and sunshine through the forecast. No sign of rain. I should put a little star by that in the 7-day forecast. I'll tell you more about what I mean later. First, let's take a look at lows tonight. We'll be in the 20s and 30s in many locations, lower 40s elsewhere around the region. Looks like mid 40s for Liberty Lake and Post Falls, possibly even Coeur d'Alene. Temperatures currently are down in the 60s across the region. We did make it into the 70s in most spots today. Again, we'll be even warmer tomorrow, heading up to a high of 74. Blue skies and sunshine for most of the day. A few clouds in the afternoon, but they will not be around for long. There's more sunshine to tell you about in the 7-day forecast, but I'm looking for rain in the 8 to 14 day outlook. I'll tell you all about that in just a few minutes, Aaron.
Sounds good. Thank you, Chris. Well, new tonight at 6:30, close to 50 longtime Idaho Republicans, including a former governor, are now backing a Democratic candidate for Attorney General. Boise candidate Tom Arkush, during a recent press conference, announced he has no political ambitions other than to run for office fairly. Arkush says he is normally registered as independent, but is now running as a Democrat so he can run against Republican Raul Labrador. Arkush says his supporters say Labrador will use the office to further his own political career. In the past, he served as a congressman and ran for governor, but lost to Brad Little in the primaries. He's responded saying, "I am running to represent the people of Idaho by protecting their freedom, our state's sovereignty, and our shared Idaho values." If Arkush is elected, he would be the first Democrat to become Attorney General since 1991. Also new tonight, a preview of the application you'll need to cancel some of your student loan debt is out. The Biden administration released it today. Education officials say they worked hard to make the application simple and straightforward by keeping the number of questions to a minimum and not require borrowers to upload any documents. The application is set to go live later this month. Around the nation, law enforcement in a small Missouri town remain tight-lipped about a kidnap and rape investigation. People in one neighborhood say a woman turned up on their doorstep, appearing to have been beaten and tied up before escaping. Matt Fleener has the latest on this investigation.
Today, boards went up on the windows and a fence with crime scene tape went up around this house here in Excelsior Springs. The neighborhood still in shock at what happened.
My heart is still broken.
Lisa Johnson remembers Friday morning and a woman escaping from this house just up the street.
She's going to be traumatized for the rest of her life.
Johnson said the woman came to her door just before 8 a.m., hunched over with a collar around her neck and marks around her wrists and ankles.
And I told her I'm going to call help for you. Her first response was, if you call the cops, he's going to kill both of us.
This literally hit close to home.
Just a few doors down, Sierra Tharp's grandmother took the woman in as they waited for police.
And I hope she can get the help and get the healing she needs.
The same goes for others near this house with so many questions.
I just want to know she's getting the help that she needs. Everything else eventually will be told.
Police say there are more details to come out in this case. We're expecting more from court documents in the coming days. In Excelsior Springs, Matt Fleener, KMBC 9 News.
Construction is underway on a new library at the Carl Maxey Center. Coming up, Mark Peterson explains what still needs to be done to make the center's late founder's dream a reality. Seattle Mariners were 1 out away from taking Game 1 of the ALDS, but the Houston Astros weren't about to let that happen. Coming up in sports, Alex Crescenti shows us how it went down this afternoon.
Stream 4 News Now on your TV for free with the KXLY Plus app.
4 News Now is brought to you by Culligan Water.
Joe Biden's open borders have threatened our neighborhoods and our children's safety. Fentanyl-related deaths have increased right here in Idaho. Gang members transport fentanyl and other dangerous drugs into our schools and communities. This has got to stop. I'm Mike Crapo. I approve this message. It's time we control the borders and shut down the pipeline of drugs and violence into Idaho.
Simone Clark, FBI.
Rookie Feds is fiendishly clever.
You heard right.
Niecy Nash Betts is fun and charming.
Sweet with a little bit of heat. Gotcha, boo.
I've never liked political ads that attack, but we need to bring the facts to light. My opponent believes that Tent City has never caused an increase in crime. With Mr. Jordan, we can expect more crime, more taxes, and more regulations that make housing more expensive. I support safer neighborhoods, lower taxes, and addressing homelessness and housing. I support you, the hardworking people of Spokane, because like you, I'm one of them. Vote Kim, please, for County Commissioner.
Watch 4 News Now as the Extreme Team upgrades the Carl Maxey Center. What we're going to do is go in and get into the next phase of operation. That's going to be a new library. There's going to be a place in back. There's going to be a nice patio. Watch 4 News Now's Extreme Team, sponsored by Horizon Credit Union.
Democrats in Washington are threatening our way of life. Reckless spending fueling inflation. Shutting down energy production here at home. A push to defund the police. Kathy McMorris Rogers is fighting every day to stop them and protect Eastern Washington, cutting spending to curb inflation, unleashing American energy production, and making sure law enforcement has the resources they need. Kathy McMorris Rogers, our voice.
I'm Kathy McMorris Rogers, and I approve this message.
Highway chaos.
This is crazy.
Next, Inside Edition. They're blocking morning rush hour traffic.
This right here is unlawful.
And motorists are fed up.
Move!
Battle over our highways. Then, their dream house in the suburbs. How it turned into a nightmare. The true story behind the chilling new movie, The Watcher.
Who are you?
Watch the next Inside Edition.
Watch 4 News Now at 6 and Inside Edition at 7.
Oh, I'm watching the time lapse that just stopped of our sunset tonight. Sunset at 9 minutes after 6. Beautiful sky, crystal clear. Did have those ash aphids I noticed on the sky cam. They were buzzing around the lens this evening, but it's that time of year. Won't be for long. Here's a look at our lows tonight. We'll be in the 40s in Spokane, Coeur d'Alene, Ritzville, and Grand Coulee, but 30s in Colville and Sandpoint. Also in Moscow and Pullman, many of the outlying areas getting down into the 30s and even below. In Deer Park, you may be bottoming out in the 20s tonight. This is the coolest reading that we have had in Spokane since June, but that is actually just about average. We're overdue. The average date of our first freeze, so 32 degrees, is October 7th. So we're overdue for our first freeze of the season. The latest we've had a freeze is November 11th. That was back in 1944. But this time last year, we woke up to 29 degrees. So 41 is really not that chilly, but it may feel as a bit of a shock if you're heading out to have your coffee on the deck after so many fairly mild nights. Meanwhile, here's our temperature trend over the next 7 days. This is our average high. It's way down here. It's at 60 tomorrow. By this time next week, it is in the mid 50s, but we are staying up in the 70s with day after day of sunshine. But for the first time in a long time, when I came in and looked at some of the computer models going out 10 days, there are indications that not this coming weekend, but a week from this weekend, we may finally start to see some rain moving in, which we definitely need for a variety of reasons. But boy, if we could get some good wetting rains on some of the area fires, that would be fantastic. That said, here is the temperature trend over the next 7 days. It's not as deep, dark red as it has been, but still calling for above average temperatures for that October 19th through 25th time period. So nothing new here. However, here is the precipitation outlook for that time period, and for the first time in a very long time, we are in the green, indicating above average precipitation, which would be a fabulous way to close out October after this very dry fall, and perhaps make some more meaningful headway on our fires. Here's your planning forecast. No rain in the 7-day forecast. We'll keep the sunshine going, keep the 70s going. Overnight lows after tonight should be in the mid-40s, but we'll take those lows on a day-by-day basis. We'll certainly give you plenty of warning if we're in danger of another frost, Aaron.
Thank you, Chris. Well, this week, Mark Peterson and the Extreme team have been working hard building a new library at the Carl Maxey Center in Spokane. The center's founder, Sandy Williams, was heavily involved in the planning process, but tragically passed away last month in a seaplane crash. It was her dream to open a library at the center to offer kids a place to learn about technology and the arts. We'll send it over to Mark to see what else needs to be done to make that dream a reality.
So it's been a rather hectic, crazy day. So we had floors that had to have more work done on the floor than originally anticipated. Slowed it down by 3 hours. Had to get the cabinets in. Well, we had to get those in before Capal Stoneworks came in, and they were running 2 hours ahead of time. So in between, we've met in the middle, and this is, again, the cabinets are set, but the countertop still needs to be completely finished. Let me show you the process. First of all, you got to have a lot of guys who've been to the gym. All right, they come in with these big slabs that were custom built, measured yesterday, done today. This does not happen in the real world. It happens in the Extreme team. We're getting the cabinet set. Again, that's Band Construction, Dean and his crew getting those set. Capal will then finish that off. Over here, we got the painting going on, and this is, of course, Horizon Credit Union. They're volunteers, which show up on every project and do beautiful. Thank you. But they're so tired of painting for me. They never want to see another paintbrush again. Anyway, they're putting, again, the Rada paint, which is a light, medium, and then a dark gray over here. Also, what have we done? The electricians have been busy for Mountain States Electric, trying to get not only the lights up in here, but we're putting electricity in other areas that have never been in this building before. So that's going to help, plus security lighting. It's been a busy day. Tomorrow, we'll have another busy day as well as we continue to work on the patio. We're going to go to the sky and get some cool stuff put up there. For the 4 News Now Extreme team at the Carl Maxey Center, I'm Mark Peterson.
The late Carl Maxey was a prominent figure in the inland Northwest. He was the first black attorney in eastern Washington and fought for civil rights. Vanessa Perez is at the center tonight with his legacy.
Yeah, I sat down with Maxey's grandson, and he describes his grandfather as a fighter, a gentle giant, and a champion. He fought fearlessly in the pursuit of equal justice. Carl Maxey, a person people looked up to, a champion for the underdog and those underrepresented.
That he was kind of a gentle giant. I didn't really get the chance to know him very well. He passed when I was 6. From the stories I heard from my father is that he really cared deeply about the people that surrounded him and the general population. He wanted to make sure, like I said, that people had those equal rights.
Undefeated in his boxing career and a fighter outside the ring. Morgan Maxey, an attorney himself, says there are 2 of his grandpa's cases that stick out.
One was where he defended a man's right to make sure that he could get a haircut, and then 2 where he ensured that liquor licenses and laws like that were being applied equally or indiscriminately.
Leaving Spokane a much better place than how he found it. Today, Maxey's legacy lives on through the Carl Maxey Center.
It was built to kind of help empower the people that live around there, to provide kind of a resource center, a skill center. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention my late friend, Sandy Williams, and all the hard work that she's put in.
Maxey says Williams and his grandpa's work will never be finished. And Morgan also says because of his grandpa's work, Spokane is a better place for all. Live at the Carl Maxey Center, Vanessa Perez, 4 News Now.
Vanessa, thank you. Here's a look at ABC's primetime lineup tonight. It's Bachelor in Paradise at 8, followed by The Rookie Feds at 10 o'clock.
Download the 4 News Now app today.
My husband has diabetes.
Even with health insurance, we're having a hard time affording our medications.
Thankfully, we have Patty Murray fighting for us in the U.S. Senate. She kept at it till Congress finally lowered the cost of prescription drugs.
And capped insulin for seniors at $35 a month.
Now we'll save thousands every year. We know when Patty is back in the other Washington.
She is working for us.
I'm Patty Murray, and I approve this message.
This season, fall into Coeur d'Alene. Fall is a great time to visit Coeur d'Alene. With awesome weather, fall color cruises, exciting events, a variety of food, beer, and wine selections, and amazing accommodations. It's the perfect time to stay and play in CDA. Visit cdafall.com for more information.
Considering selling your RV? R&R wants it. Tired of paying storage fees? R&R needs it. Just don't use it anymore? R&R will buy it. Due to a critical shortage of pre-owned RVs, R&R RV is currently paying absolute top dollar for your used RV. Any year, any make, any model. Turn your RV into cash or flip it for a newer model. So if you no longer use it or want it, let R&R RV buy it. Visit the R&R RV Superstore in North Spokane or call Ryan at 509-244-5888.
At Washington Trust Bank, can't is a four-letter word.
I think we should hire more people.
Doc, I'm late for a meeting. I'm thinking of starting my own practice.
Do it. Too much capital.
We need a warehouse.
I can't imagine how we do that.
We should knock that wall down and expand.
Do it. There's always another wall beyond the wall.
We believe you can do whatever you set your mind to, and we'll help you get there. Washington Trust Bank, privately owned, locally invested.
Vote with confidence this November. In Washington, our layered cybersecurity systems, trained officials, and election audits make sure every vote is counted accurately. After you've received your ballot packet in the mail, fill it out and send it back in your signed return envelope. You can also put it in an official Dropbox or submit it in person. Visit votewa.gov to register, find voting locations, and check your ballot status.
4 News Now is brought to you by Coeur d'Alene Casino Resort Hotel.
Well, after sweeping the Toronto Blue Jays over the weekend, the Seattle Mariners had their eyes set on Houston as they faced off against their ALS West rival for the right to go to the American League Championship Series. And in order for the Mariners to win this series, they were going to have to limit the bats of the Astros and drive in a lot of runs themselves, something they were not able to do in the regular season matchups. And they got off to a good start in that category. Top of the first, runners on the corners for Cal Raleigh. He hits a line drive into the right field corner. That's going to score a run, and Seattle up 1-0. Raleigh has had quite the past couple of weeks there, being the hero. Next inning, bats continue. This time, it's the future AL Rookie of the Year, Julio Rodriguez, comes through with a deep drive to deep right field. And that's going to drive in another couple of runs, and the M's extending that lead now. Houston not going away, though. Bottom of the third, Yordan Alvarez with a drive to left field that will bounce off the wall, and it was a 4-0 Mariners advantage. Now cut in half, but don't forget about Alvarez just yet in this game. Seattle bats absolutely teeing off on future Hall of Famer Justin Verlander today. In the fourth, Ty France with a drive off the left field wall. Another run comes home. Lead is back up to 4. Verlander only goes 4 innings, giving up 6 runs on 10 hits. Fast forward a few innings later, Eugenio Suarez with a solo home run to left to make it a 7-3 ball game. And you're thinking at this point, surely it's over. The M's have this clinched in hand. Well, not so fast, because in the 8th, Alex Bregman cuts that lead with a 2-run home run. And now the doubt's starting to creep back in here. The Mariners still with the lead in the bottom of the 9th, and Houston down to their final out. Robbie Ray into close, but Alvarez with a no-doubter walk-off 3-run home run. They stormed back to steal Game 1, a game the Mariners had to have. The bullpen of the M's giving up 5 runs to the Astros this afternoon, and they couldn't get the job done when the offense was just so good. But the decision to bring in Ray at the end there was always in the works.
But, you know, we talked about it coming into the series. We talked about it pregame today. And I looked at it in the 7th inning and said, hey, this could happen. And so
That was the plan going in. End of the day, you know, you have a plan, we got to execute it, and you know, got to give them credit. Tip my hat. It's not easy to walk up there and do what he did today, but he's one of the best hitters in the league, and he showed it today.
Mariners will now have Wednesday off before getting back at it on Thursday afternoon, so a chance to hit the reset button and move on. Luis Castillo will go in Game 2. That first pitch is just going to be after 12:30. Aaron, send it back over to you.
Alex, thank you. It's an addiction that plagues kids as young as 11 years old. According to data from the CDC and FDA, more than 2.5 million middle and high school students in the U.S. reported using e-cigarettes this year.
Kids aren't just experimenting with e-cigarettes. They're using them all the time.
E-juice flavors may be part of the appeal for younger kids. According to the 2022 National Youth Tobacco Survey, nearly 85% of middle and high school users chose flavored products. The FDA says it's illegal for e-cigarettes that are not FDA authorized to be sold, and that it is actively working to identify violations and to swiftly seek corrective actions, particularly for products popular among youth. In November 11th is Veterans Day, and we want to help honor the men and women in your life who have served. Send us a photo of a veteran you know, along with their name, branch of service, and any details you'd like to share. On Veterans Day, we will honor them with a photo gallery on our website, and we'll share some of the photos right here on our broadcast. Just email the pictures to veterans@kxly.com.
Sign up for breaking news alerts with the 4 News Now app.
Next ET, J-Lo, Jimmy inside their sweet new project.
What?
And it's massive. Plus, our exclusive with former Beverly Hills housewife Yolanda Hadid.
Being a part of a reality show took a toll on your mental health.
They knew I was fighting for my life.
Then he's back. Only we're with Jennifer Tilly and Devin Sawa talking Chucky Season 2.
Chucky's awfully quiet today.
Rough night. Next ET.
Watch 4 News Now at 6 and Entertainment Tonight at 7:30.
I seem to be having a problem with my heat. It seems to be making this sound.
Oh, no worries. We can certainly take care of that for you. At Mainstream Heating and Cooling, we speak your language.
Joe Biden's open borders have threatened our neighborhoods and our children's safety. Fentanyl-related deaths have increased right here in Idaho. Gang members transport fentanyl and other dangerous drugs into our schools and communities. This has got to stop. I'm Mike Crapo. I approve this message. It's time we control the borders and shut down the pipeline of drugs and violence into Idaho.
And family fun, all in one place. River Park Square.
I've never liked political ads that attack, but we need to bring the facts to light. My opponent believes that Tent City has never caused an increase in crime. With Mr. Jordan, we can expect more crime, more taxes, and more regulations that make housing more expensive. I support safer neighborhoods, lower taxes, and addressing homelessness and housing. I support you, the hardworking people of Spokane, because like you, I'm one of them. Vote Kim, please, for County Commissioner.
Before all the leaves fall, there's still time to get Gutter Helmet. Gutter Helmet fits right over your existing gutters, and you'll never have to clean your gutters again. Save 15% off now. Shop local. SpokaneRainGutter.com.
4 News Now is brought to you by Everhart Painting.
Coming up tonight on Nightside, a task force with the goal of preventing depression in children wants parents to screen their kids earlier. When you should screen your kids for anxiety and what to look for in their behavior. That's coming up on Nightside.
We're heading down to an overnight low in the lower 40s, 45 at 8 o'clock, 74 though for a high. Are you going to cover your tomatoes? You still have a huge garden. No, you're going to roll the dice?
Come on. You know, I've had so many tomatoes this year. Not like I need any more.
I've
if it
had
happens, it happens.
0 of your tomatoes.
That's
no,
not
it's
true.
not true. It's not true. I would like more of your tomatoes, please.
I'll pick some when I go home and for dinner.
Stream 4 News now on your TV for free with the KXLY Plus app. See breaking news in your area or have a story idea? Contact 4 News Now.